a table can really tell a person's story. Edible education experience integrates art and creativity in our teaching styles because culinary is an art form, and I think food is the ultimate storyteller.
Southern food was the very first regional cuisine to emerge in America. When we're looking at this food, we should be looking at it from the lens of history.
The basis of Southern food and Southern history is storytelling. It's a really prime example of how we are constantly telling our story, even in the smallest moments.
Every culture has this. It's a passing on of knowledge, it's a passing on of love, all done through recipes and cooking together. Growing up in upstate New York, got to go to school, play sports, do whatever, come home and grow tomatoes, right? Not a typical kid. The most rewarding part of that was I would grow all these great vegetables and my mother would come downstairs and cut some eggplant and some tomatoes and basil, and we would make eggplant parmesan for dinner based on what was in the garden. The premise was to come out of the cafeteria, go into the classroom, and teach like a nutritional science class. We realized that most of the students at school had no clue what food was or where food came from. When I had K Restaurant in College Park, the back of K was one huge garden. That was part of the catalyst to do like a farm to table in the classrooms.
We have a multitude of educators, everyone from a food historian to nutritionists to chefs, showcasing the history or the geography or whatever we are theming on, and we've surrounded ourselves with such a diverse yet passionate group of people.
One of the things that's really cool about Southern food is that it is so unique because it is a combination of ingredients and techniques and flavors from several different areas of the world. Africa, they include Europe, and they include Native American food traditions as well. Each of these interactions, as people have kind of moved and changed over time, over centuries, have been influenced by exploitation, by interacting, and then by ingenuity.
You can tell a lot by somebody's culture by their cuisine. What are they growing in the land? What can they produce? Is the food spicy? Is it bland? Is it seafood driven? Is it meat? Is it all vegetables? You can tell the hardships they had over the years was influenced by immigration, forced immigration. These are recipes developed over years and handed down by generation to generation.
We're making fruit cobbler today, but it could be the same fruit cobbler that someone 150 years ago was making.
That's the light bulb moment to be like, oh, my mom makes that, and we're learning about it.
This is a census record from 1880. Now it says here, Mrs. Abby Fisher, so we know she's married. We have here, it says pickles and preserves. We know from the census record that Mrs. Fisher was illiterate. She's originally born in South Carolina. And from the recipes that she has in her cookbook, she mentions plantations. So we know that she was probably enslaved and then moved after the Civil War from South Carolina to California. In 1879, she won an award at the California State Fair. She formed her own company with her husband and published one of the most popular cookbooks in the country. It just goes to show that when we're talking about Southern food, it influences not only us here today, but people centuries ago.
She wrote a whole entire cookbook orally. Amazing. There are a lot of hidden heroes within the culinary scene, like Mrs. Fisher or James Heming, which is the inventor of probably most Americans' favorite food, which is mac and cheese. So finding those connections of these are the people that really created what we know today is really a wonderful feeling.
I think it's important for people to know where their food comes from.
Awesome.
We made sure that part of the curriculum was learning how that food grew and how to garden.
Being able to pick something from the garden and figuring out how to cook it the best way and the most nutritious way, to see something that our ancestors did and able to replicate and have them have that connection. It's quite surreal. We're doing a seed mapping activity and we're focusing on collard greens and to see how they actually came to the Americas, because people think that collard greens were just here, but they weren't, and they came with enslaved Africans and became a staple food for Southern history. Also, when we go into the summer and we taught this class, we have okra that we can pull from the garden, or corn, or tomatoes. I think a big part of Southern food is to use what you have.
Go ahead, guys, grab a plate.
Grab a plate.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
When you're done, we clean up and we come back together as one big family and we break bread together.
The kids will present on what they do, and they get to try all of the dishes. And it's really fascinating because we are plant forward. You'll be surprised how many plants you can get a kid to eat if they've cooked it themselves. It's quite impressive to watch.
The collard greens, which looks like lettuce, it was really cool to work with them because I've never worked with them before.
I also learned how to cut a lot of things, how to handle it. It was really just teamwork. One was stewing, one was cutting, one was putting all the things in.
It's different than any other cooking class because you learn history and you learn a lot about what you're working with.
I'm probably going to tell my mom and dad about it and then tell them like we should do this maybe in a week, or maybe I can try this with my friends. I think it would be really fun.
They are doing something that someone else in their family probably dearly loved. It warms my heart, really. It resonates with me on a very deep and personal level because that's how I show my love too, and that's how I show how I care about people is through food.
If I teach you a recipe and you create that recipe, all right, you're gonna plate that beautifully. To me, that's art, right? So now you're gonna share that with somebody else and pass that on. We're paying homage, and that is a remembrance of where we came from and what the land's all about.